From Kansas City, where hockey talk gets real, this is Steve and the Blue Line.
Steve, is the NHL entertaining a new era of chaos?
A new energy, no, not chaos. It's always been chaotic. I mean, and not always chaos. I mean, it looks like chaos when you see, your whole team fighting another whole team,
Right.
and the goalies coming out to meet each other and battle it out at center ice. I mean, it seems like chaos, but that's really the sport of hockey. Yeah, it's really the sport of hockey, and that goes back. I mean, it used to be a lot more chaotic way back in the day, when you had the Flyers and I've been at some Blades games where you had Cody Wood and who was the guy before him?
Link, Leighton Gates. So you had Link Gates, you had Donny Davis, and of course your brawler.
I mean, you've had chaotic.
Well, let's go back to the Flyers. Oh God, I mean they were fierce.
Oh yeah. You had some brutal guys playing for him. And then you had Bobby Clark, the Toothless Wonder.
Right. So I saw the interview on the Chicklets, and they were talking about that.
Oh yeah.
Back in that era, and how the teams, when they had to go play them, they were like, well, everybody on teams can get their ass kicked into today's game.
Yeah.
Because that's what that's how they stock the roster.
Oh yeah. In fact, they had their big rivals were the Boston Bruins. If you've not read this book, Sanderson, who used to play for the Boston Bruins, put out a book about their rivalry back in the 70s. Great freaking book. You need it. If you haven't read it, it's a great book while you're sitting on the shitter, pick it up.
Or you mean to do the audio effects, that's all it is.
Or the audio, Simon. Yes, sorry, I'm 52 years old. I forgot about the audio, right? It's not younger. But yes, but as far as going back to your chaoticness, you know what? Sometimes it does seem chaotic, but in the final scheme of things, man, it's all about winning the game and whatever you could do to win.
Yeah. We kind of touched base about on the last episode. You talk about how speeds come into agility. For it becomes so much more of the game, or surf, and that's how much faster they are. And so it's kind of, it kind of seems like the enforcer role has always been there, but it kind of started not being quite as important.
Right.
Like Shirley didn't have 5 enforcers on the team. It's usually 1 or 2.
100%. All right. Now the Flyers were a little different.
Right.
And so that was it. They didn't have, but there's even more than one enforcer. Well, that one of them was going to get kicked out of the year for that first, and then you had to have another one. You have to have 3 or 4 back for the day. And that was the name of their game was, we're going to beat the shit out of you until you you don't want to play us.
Right.
Well, we have said a beat you where you can be scared of us. Well, they said this in this. Now that was more chaotic back, and then that was more, we're going to smash you. And you know what? You had to be careful. You had to be concerned about your health. Right. Yeah. I mean, nowadays, it's nothing like that. It's more finesse. Like you said, it's more agility. It's more endurance. There's more there's a lot more strategy to the game than just going out and beating the shit out of something.
Sure. Well, do you think so? That happened about when Gretzky came in there, right?
Yes.
Wendy kind of the first, just like, holy shit.
Yeah, for sure. He was a stud. He came in the late 70s, and they had Bossy and all them guys with the Islanders in the early 80s. I mean, then your finesse started kicking in.
Well, so it was Gretzky in 70.
Gretzky and later. Bossy is like 5 years later for the New York Islanders. They won 4 Stanley Cups back to back.
He came in, 5 years later?
I believe the 4. Yes. But he'd been playing for the OHL. Right. He's still a stud. Right. He's known Gordie Howe pretty much since he was a little kid growing up.
Wow, that's a whole episode there.
A whole another level of business.
And he deserves it.
1 million for sure. They named the hat trick after him. If you don't know,
I didn't know that.
Fights, goals, and assists. Yeah, that's a Gordie Howe hat trick.
I've seen so many highlights of him.
You get a fight, you get a goal, you get an assist. Gordie Howe hat trick. Okay, that's
perfect.
But no.
So Gretzky comes in, kind of changes it up a little bit.
Right.
That's a necessary change up, but hockey starts. Yeah. Now, but then he got his own bodyguard.
Right.
Who was that?
Well, and that's Marty McSorley. I'm going to go.
Marty McSorley. I love the name.
Sounds
like a badass.
Well, he is a badass. I mean, he beat the shit out of people. Yeah. But he ended up getting banned out of he ended up doing something pretty dirty that got him in trouble. He lost his temper, and back checked somebody in the back of the neck. He went down face first on the ice. Concussion City. And here we go with
It's like deadly weapon stuff.
well, I think he got charged. If I know how, I'd have to look that, but I think he got charged. But it was kind of brutal. But yeah, and that's what happened to the Flyers. As finesse came in, you can only beat the shit out of so many people. When somebody's faster than you and they score more goals than you, it took the toughness a little bit out of the game.
Right.
So then the finesse started coming in. But then as the 90s and 2000s, they tried taking fighting out of the game, and that didn't work.
Right.
Because now you got stars getting hurt.
And your story civilization. Last episode, you said the fighting regulates the games.
All the reps, the fights, and I could let it fight.
Right.
And as you've seen this game, you know, there's it's part of the game. It's the saber letting game. Right. It's part of the game. You have 5, 6, however many fights. I mean, when you get whacked, we talk about things happen behind the referees. Guys get hit in the calf. Guys, and you don't see that live. You see it when you're there at the game. See it on TV. You don't see it. Next thing you know, boom. There's a fight. You wonder, wow, what happened here? Well, a minute ago, he got whacked in the back of the freaking.
And it's so quick.
And you know what? He didn't forget about it.
And well, I have pain still.
And the bruise is still is really showing.
To catch it in action was, I mean, it's so
Yes,
fast.
it is fast, and the rest didn't see it. A lot of people at the stadium saw it because they said, but the TV cameras didn't see it. Nobody understands why this guy just came up and whacking. And you know what? That's how it goes, right?
Man, that's what makes hockey.
It is. It's
Like, I love that old school. Going watching the Blades play.
and it has.
Played up Bill Gates.
Yes, the fighting has came back, and that's the part of the game that people have really been missing. And now, you got a lot of new people following the game, and they're like, wow. You got new TV shows out where all these youngsters are following the game, and they're seeing what this real deal hockey is all about. And man, when you check it out, you're like, wow, this is hockey.
Right. Now, that's the name of that TV show?
It's got a heated rivalry.
Heated Rivalry.
The one they saw a big one. It's on, I believe, HBO Max. So I haven't got a chance to watch it, but we have had a lot of people tell me about it, and we've had a lot of people hop on our party buses and say they've heard about it from this show. They've heard about the sport of hockey, and they want to go see it live. And so that show has really brought hockey to the attention to young females, especially.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, real quick, back to Marty, just because.
Yeah.
Fraser, I jumped right.
Speaking of Marty, I was just going to let you know he was suspended for 23 games.
23.
But that's the longest season. That's the longest suspension ever.
Yeah.
And his contract expired during the suspension, and nobody never played another game from that old Addy.
So people just were like, fuck. But Gretzky had it. It was not a Darborn.
It was not dirty.
Okay. So, well, Gretzky was going to, was like, Gretzky was fired. Well, then he had no lifeline. That was Gretzky. Clearly, it's a reason to keep him around. Now, would you say steroids? Because, there was a steroid here.
Great possibility, right where he was just like, I mean, just the possibility, no accusation.
Sure, I had no clue. And I'm not going to say anything in that.
Hey, Eduardo, you said it's the longest suspension in NHL league history. So that let you know. How about, and you know what, for the only being 23 games, I can't believe. I thought there there was consideration of some kind of charges going on there too. But,
They probably thought he was going to get charged, and they were like, screw it, I'm not going to renew it.
no, that's right. That's when Hoffy got a little kid. That was chaos. That there is chaos, and that's why nobody else ever picked him up, because you don't want chaos in hockey. What you want is shit to go down that's meant to go down. They're all shot to go down. That's meant to go down. And 5 of them fights were meant to go down.
Yeah.
And it happened. And that's the sport of hockey, and that's why we absolutely love it.
Yeah, it definitely.
If you haven't seen it, try one out.
Right. Try one out, especially if you get a Blade One Light.
This past for sure, I can. Hey, we just gave out tickets to the Blue Line to a Blues Devils game. Unfortunately, they saw the Devils win 2-0, and the Blues the Blues might have got a goal late, but it wasn't as a high scoring game like the 7-8. But you know what?
Now the Blues used to be real aggressive.
The Blues are a great young team. They just traded for somebody. Well, who did they trade? Braden Shen? Okay, yeah. So you know what? They traded for Brain Shin. I think he had 12 goals this year.
All right, so that's interesting, Bob McSor.
Yeah,
95, 25 innings, 23, I think. 23 innings.
but regardless, he never played. I guess.
Yeah, us hair picked up, so his career is over. What a shitty.
That's how. Yeah. Out of being such a stud for for Gretzky all them years, for his career to end like that really sucks because he was he did his job very, very well.
Sure. So, in that sense, he was kind of outlived it. And then the steroids, what outlived really.
And the finesse took and on the steroid problem might have went down if he had good or if he even had. So yeah, that's a bad ending for him.
Sure. Now, I mean, if every game looked like the Saber Lightning game that we just had, hockey might be the best sport on earth. I'm a big UFC thing.
I would have to agree with you. I know I got a buddy who is a big Sabres fan, Burley. Shout out to you, bud. He's from Buffalo. Oh yeah, that's right. And he chimed in and asked me if I seen the game, and I did watch it. But I seen the highlights, and what a freaking game. And you know what? Good for the Sabres. Good for you for finally
Good you early. I mean, good chime in.
finally getting a team that finally gets to make the freaking playoffs after years and years of doing bad. But going back to that game, if every game was like that, oh my gosh, Hoffy would be through drained. Well, yeah, we wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom, right? For sure, without missing 3 freaking goals.
Right.
I mean, when you score 15 goals, you're 5 goals a period. You're at 1 goal every 4 minutes.
Right.
I mean, and I don't know, if you really got to pee, that's going to take you 5 minutes and you're going to miss the goal.
Or possibly, I'm just saying. So now onto the trade. Does the deadline just happen? Did the NHL trade deadline actually change, how the Stanley Cup races in the playoff?
It always does. I don't know exactly what the rules are, but I know Colorado's used it. I know the Las Vegas Knights have used, like, where one of their players get hurt, they can go ahead and designate them for the injury reserve for the rest of the year, but then they can bring them back for the playoffs and it not count against their cap. And so it's kind of the little method. It's the old cap thing, and I don't know if they have eliminated that or if they've worked on that. But I know the Knights used it, and I know Colorado used it, and it worked out. I think the Knights won the Stanley Cup the year they did that. It's one or the other. But yes, trade deadlines, it's upon us. And you know what? Now it's the teams, like we just had a trade with Braden Shin with St. Louis. He went to the Islanders. Yep. You're getting these trades, where he's a 12 goal scorer.
Not he's got, so he probably for the whole
Played great in leadership, 61 games, does a lot of great. Great, that is what a locker room player is. Teams are looking for those right now for their young guys.
Yeah.
Like the Sharks, you have 4 19-year-olds. They got.
So what does that bring to the locker room?
Well, it brings smartness.
So they're coming in the period, they're saying, look, Dave, what are you doing? You're not paying attention.
Hey, I'm going to pass it to you. I'm not going to take this shot. I'm going to be looking for the pass at all times. You're the man. Or in the locker room, they might not even be out on the ice, but they're chirping them from the bench, letting them know, hey guys, run this. This guy, he knows this guy's played against him for you, do this to him. He's just got the knowledge of the always passing the Braden Shin's been in the league, he's been in the league for a while. He's played almost all 61 games and he knows the sport. And so young guys need that locker room player to help figure some certain little things out that they're still learning.
Sure, makes sense. How do you think there's any contenders that are trying to trade for tough guys?
Sure. I'm sure you'll hear some tough guys out there. I know Ryan Reeves, the Sharks have him. They might deal him. I don't know, but he's one of your tough guys, and he only plays when they know that there's going to be a scrap happening usually. But every now and then he'll score. I love Ryan Reeves. Everybody loves Ryan Reeves when he plays on your team. When he doesn't play on your team, everybody absolutely hates him. He's just one of those players.
No, he's not a friendly guy, too.
He's not very friendly if you're on the other team. If you mess with one of his guys, you do anything that is any kind of disrespectful, he will let you know about it. And you know what? There's not enough of him in my. There's your Tom Wilsons. I mean, you still have your guys, and so never mind on that comment. There's plenty of them tough guys out there, and we're seeing it this year.
So now do teams usually put that person out, or do teams call
Well,
and say, hey,
it depends. It depends who they're playing. Like I was saying, you know what? Hey, do you playing or you healthy scratching and you sitting knowing this is going to be a scoring game? It just all depends on who you're playing. Are you playing a rivalry that you've played 3 times and you know this guy just keeps hitting and you're sick and tired of it? And it's time to step on up, Mr. Reeves. And now he's got to make a statement, especially, and that way that shit in.
sorry, he keeps us.
That shit in. So it just depends on what situation you're at and what spot in the league and who's doing what to you.
It's got to be terrifying. To be like, oh man, I know they're bringing this dude up to smash my fucking.
Well, and that's if you know what, if you're guarding this guy, you better be, if you're on this guy on the ice, you just better be a little nicer doing than usual, but still just try and play good defense.
Now, are they still, are teams still trading for locker room guys? Oh, is that still worth the trade?
I mean, well, obviously, look, the Blues gave up Shen, and they got some picks. Blues, hey, you know what? That they've had a couple of not so good years where they've picked up some good young players.
Right.
They got a good pick. I think they got 2 or 3 first-round picks next year. Hey, that is great. That's what the Sharks did. They trade away.
So, and they're already on team, though.
They're already older, and they're about ready to get younger. So they're about ready to get 3 first-round picks. That's what the Sharks did for years, for 2 or 3 years, and they're in a growing position, right?
So that's just going to build with them.
For sure. And it's all about your management, too, and that was the problem with Buffalo. Buffalo, it took years and years and finally, and I love to see it, finally, they've stepped up. I think the last time they were really good was back in 96, I want to say, somewhere around there. Me and my buddy Early were at Buzzards Beach, and we saw when Madonna or whoever it was for Dallas Stars stepped in the crease, and that ended that whole era of being in the crease and scoring. But that was the last time Buffalo had been in the playoffs. They'd been rebuilding. It's like since that for a year.
It's like 20 years
Long. Yes, 20 years. And they've had the
But when you try, they did it different.
some of it, but you know what? This kind of seems to be working this year. Whatever they did different, if they did, well, and hopefully, I'm sure they had to do something different to all of a sudden come out and be playing this good. But whatever it is, it's took a long time. Teams take a while to rebuild. Detroit has rebuilt. They're finally good. And it's beautiful to see this rebuilding actually take shape.
Right.
Blackhawks have been rebuilding since 2015, 2000.
Is the Flyers kind of
Who
started all?
The Flyers, they've been for the last minute. But the Blackhawks are trying to rebuild. They just cannot get together. They started the year out good and have been fading. So it's tough, but you know what? Only time tells. And this year's Buffalo's, I'm rooting on Buffalo this year. And if not the Sharks, I'm rooting on Buffalo if they're in it. So,
okay, well, kind of the last question on that. So, would you rather, with the deadline meal coming up, would you rather trade for skill or toughness?
Skill or toughness? Once again, that comes down to what we're talking about
The Sharks.
Yeah, Sharks. You know what? We got some tough bets. We got young guys. I think if we added just a little more talent around them, some good scores, some good, maybe little tough score guys, guys like your, oh man, I can't come up with the name right off my head. But regardless, if they come up with some good guys who can score and have a little toughness to them, and that's it, right? That's what I think we're looking for. Hey, we need guys who can protect you. We got 4 19-year-olds on the team. We need guys who can protect them. And because they're not 5, they're 19. They just got in the league. You get a good bruiser, and they're going to beat on probably all 4 of them. I mean, we got Celebrini. You don't want him fighting.
No, you don't.
You don't want him hurting your hand, breaking his fist. I mean, he's one of your scorers. So you keep your young guys out of it. So I would go for a tough guy who can score. That's what we're looking for.
Right. That sounds like
Right. I mean, not a straight fighter. We already have that Ryan Reeves. And You know, it costs a lot of money, and nobody's really giving up goal scores unless you're on a bad team. And you know what? We're on the skirts. I think next year is more of our year to really run and gun and put money into the team and find a free agent. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got 28 days left. The trade deadline ends soon, very soon.
So now, actually, when does that trade deadline end, Todd? You know, and so one other thing is, do you think that the Sabres were Lightning? Did they even fuck with trading anybody or trying to do anybody when you had that kind of? I mean, they're playing great, right? You know, you're in the top.
You still try picking up your missing pieces. You know what? Even then, they're missing some small pieces that might propel them to the top. What that is, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of defense. You had an 8-7 game, but then again, you had 5 or 6 fights, so you had a lot of people in the box.
100 something.
Yeah,
It was March 7th.
March 7th. So, yeah. So, whoever you got, you're stuck with, right? Yeah. So, Braden Shen, I think, was one of the last trades.
So, and he's been in the league 16 years.
There you go. Great, obviously.
Yeah. That's why they were getting him. Yeah. Grim grit and knowledge.
And like I said, I think he scored 12 goals, probably 20 some points. You know, he's not in there. He's
A lot of players play. I mean, it's crazy how many late 30s. Oh yeah, and for what they put their body through. Well, and then even a lot of them after they retire at 36 or whatever, but then they'll go play, in Russia for a handful of more years or somewhere.
every year, y'all sure. Played till he was 50-some years old.
50 something years old.
Okay, and like shit, in the Switzerland league, you're right. Yep, switch you went in. I gotcha.
And they pay good.
But hey, he didn't stop. I had 56. I think he was still playing it. How long was it?
I mean, that might be your probably play at least 45 years of hockey.
Probably.
If not, a few more from Pee Wee.
Well, you got Perry, who's in the league right now, still playing. He's in his 40s, man, and just scored a hell of a goal the other day. You know, these guys, if you still have it in them at ages, I mean,
Well, but I don't know.
hey,
When you go see football players,
he thought up Rivers.
well,
Tree kind of jumped right into that one, Matt.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah, we're in our 40s. But you know what? You don't see too many 40-year-old running backs or lying now because their knees are toe right. They've been beat the hell up.
Right.
Quarterbacks are your OCs, or receivers. I mean, yeah, you're not. I think Jerry Rice, but you know, you don't see too many old hockey players. But Corey Perry is one of them, and he's still around the league scoring. So. You locker room players are big. They're going to help you through the playoffs. They're going to help your young guys and help in the locker room. So obviously the Islanders felt like they needed that person and they were not got.
now, I mean, is the league getting younger and faster?
I think so.
Veterans?
I mean, teams are looking to, the teams are wanting to rebuild. You got the Pittsburgh Penguins. You got Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Crosby. And, you know, them guys are getting old, but hey, they're still leading their division. So, and Bill Osby's what, 30? He's in his mid-30s. Mid-30s at least. I'm not sure on an exact age. I don't know everything in the world about hockey, but I know he's in his mid-30s. Malkin, same thing. He's getting up there. He's in his lower 30s somewhere. And in hockey, that's starting to get up there. You know, you're starting in the league at 18.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, your prime years are 18 to 26, 18 to 28, man. Yeah, and then after that, you start becoming a vet. After 10 years, you're a veteran.
Yeah, if it's like 37.
Huh?
37. 37. Crawford.
Crosby's 37 years old.
I mean, so like Ricky Frank Nazar, he's scoring clutch OT goals, and he's getting paid big money. How old is he, Todd? The Frank Nazar, I think it's Nazar.
Who's he play for?
Tell us that too, John. I can't remember. God, he just scored the clutch OT goal.
The younger for Chicago, he's 21.
21. Okay. So he's probably,
That's
still very young, but he probably played in college or
there's a really
Yeah, he played for Michigan.
Michigan. Okay.
there you go. And after Michigan, he probably
Is he paid big dollars?
13th. He was 13th overall draft pick.
And what's ATL? He's in big.
22.
he's probably
in 22. 22. He's been playing. So he's 21 now. He's been playing since 2022.
Okay. No shot. Such in the league? In the league? Yeah. Go fast. Well, when you're in the first round draft pick, they usually go up to the league pretty quick. Yeah. I mean, double A, usually out of college, some kids might go to the double A if you're on the fence and then move your way up. But when you're that good, yeah. When you're in the top 10, 15, you usually get to the NHL's first year. Right. So, yeah. And younger skill players. Yeah. So, it is youth. It's just like any sport. They're getting better. They're getting faster. They're getting stronger, and they're getting just more better. That's all there is to it. More better. Yeah.
So, I mean, as the NHL, so the NHL is becoming a young man's league.
I think Sarasota. Well, like I told you, Pittsburgh's in first place, and they're probably one of the oldest teams in the league. That's another good one to look up. Is I don't know the teams from youth, from the youngest team in the league to the oldest team in the league, but I know Pittsburgh is one of the older teams in the league, and they're holding down the fort. So
Yeah.
you know what? They just got it. They got a good team put together. So that's what it's all about, having that good combination. And obviously they got old or young.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that we are watching, the decline of the old guard, right?
Oh, well, yeah, first,
Just like you just
there's always that right where,
you mentioned Malkin.
yeah.
He got suspended after some kind of slash.
I can't remember who they were playing, but he took one to the hands, Malkin did, and he went over, and then the guy cross-checked him. I think it was the Islanders. Then the guy cross-checked him, and I think Malkin had enough, and he swung his stick and hit the guy in the trachea. I know he got suspended for the game. I don't know if there's any other, if he's looking at any other fines or anything, but that's just one of those, man. It was hard. He's like been around lots, and well, I mean, you already hit him on the knuckles, and it looked like it hurt. And then the guy went over and went ahead and gave him a little chet, and in the back. And you know what? By that time, I would be mad too. But you can't swing a stick at a guy's neck head area. So
I'm sorry, would you say that veterans are kind of losing their discipline?
well, I mean, it's not just veterans. It's just something that happens, Now, fortunately, thank God it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt anybody seriously, but I mean, thank God it wasn't straight on blow off. It might have came from the side or whatever. But yeah, you don't want that to happen.
I was in Deca because no. Yeah, so I mean, but would you say that play would have been kind of normal 15 years ago?
About like
25
back in the 70s, 80s, that play doesn't even get called for a penalty.
Right.
I mean, that's why it's one of those deals. That's why.
That's why we need to keep steering towards like how the Sabres writings was, because
Right.
We want to. Biden has to stay in on it.
Oh, 100%. It's not going nowhere. They tried eliminating it, and it did not work at all. So they see viewer ratings are way through the roof, and they're not doing anything. All they're doing is making hockey better. And there are more rivalries, more, whatever it may be. Last year it was the Four Nations. We didn't have an All-Star Games. All-Star Games, what are they? They're flag football. It's kind of getting residualized. So
No, it's time maybe for some of the others to have a little time off. You're in it, All-Star.
well, what the NHL is, we had the Four Nations. We had four different countries going at it. That's a hell of an All-Star game, if you ask me, for sure. And you saw what happened on the Canada. You boo us USA people. We're not very happy. So we're dropping it. A boom, the burst.
Like in 9 seconds or 3 seconds.
And so, it's just beautiful where the sport is right now.
Okay, so now we need to get to the 5 week.
For sure.
I wouldn't say that this was one fight because it was 5, but it was just, people are saying this might be the game of the year. And that was the Sabre Lightning game we talked about earlier in a segment.
Yep.
And there was 5 fights, 100 plus penalty minutes. I mean,
A lot of, as far as fight of the week, yes, because there was just some major anger issues taken out of the ice. You had people, as they were down, still just getting throttled. I tell you who really deserved to get paid that game was the referees. They took their own beatings with all the I mean, if we're trying to separate, try to break up 5 good fights. And when you say 5 fights, you're talking there's more than that going around. I mean, there's strums. Every fight, there's strums. Right. Where there's referees, you got to get in the middle of all this. And there's constant just little jabs. And so,
within the first 5 minutes, they up 6, 7 guys piled up over on boards.
That is a major rivalry that, it gets heated and there's a lot of hatred on there. So stay tuned, man. That they're going to be playing each other in the playoffs. That's not the last at all.
Now, there is wrong. There was better fights.
Yeah.
This game just had me talking.
It had multiple fights and they were all, I mean, down and dirty. They were all freaking, you could tell there's no love lost within them two teams at all, which is great. Going in the playoffs, I love to see it. I can't wait. Give me a Buffalo Lightning rematch.
Oh my God, that'd be.
I mean, that's prime.
Pretty good, Brian.
Yes.
Lots of action. I love it. Their hatred from this past would carry over.
I mean, and all the goal scoring, all how much.
And it's Burley. It could be cheering on Burley.
Yeah, go get them there. Finally. Good for you. Wow.
And you see that patty box?
Oh my God, they couldn't. I think they had to start standing them up in there. It was incredible. I mean, yeah. I think I had 8 players on the bench. I thought I'd seen on one of the graphics 8 players on the bench during the game, during all that was going on.
Yeah, it was.
That's a lot of players over there in the penalty box. It was.
Now, kind of along the same fighting, wasn't really a fight, but we were talking about Malcolm earlier.
No, yeah.
And did you see that slash kind of deal he had going on?
Oh, yeah. And he got him on the trace there.
Yeah.
Or at least on the side. He was holding his throat.
Yeah.
So I think, Todd, you got some video of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have some pivots, I think.
That's pretty wild.
How did you read that series here?
You know what? So what happens here? Todd has a little red dino on TV. What that guy's doing there is he's slashing Malcolm on the finger section.
Malcolm is
Yes.
guy's yellow.
So you can see this guy comes up and gives him the good old whackaroo right there on the knuckles. Well, he's gonna get pissed off, and as you can see in the next little scene, this guy's he come around after whacking him in the knuckles. Malcolm tries scoring, getting a rebound on the goalie, and this guy decides to cross-check him. And at that point, I think Malcolm's had enough. As you can see, Malcolm's done turn around and hit him in the throat with a stick. I mean, it was like a turnaround slash type thing. And he's holding his throat, as you can see, and I think Malcolm's in the middle saying, "I'll get your ass, and I'm sorry all at once, because I don't want the fine that's coming with this."
Right.
But that's pretty much that looks like, but
That guy was an instigator, I would say.
that guy was, I say when you hit somebody on the hands like that, it hurts. And then you go ahead and give him a couple chucks in the back after you. And listen, I'm not saying Malcolm didn't do something to him first. I didn't watch the whole game from front. I didn't watch the action from them 2 players for sure. Well, that guy could have been going on all game. I don't know. But we did catch where he got him on the knuckles and it hurt like hell, and then he got hit in the back, and then that was the end of it there. So what went on before that, who knows? But we know that he was done. We do know that his neck was hurting after that stick.
Did you see him look over at his bench and he's just all,
yeah, some medium like that.
oh yeah. So lots of good action. I'm glad we're getting back. Not good back. I just like seeing the highlights as
well. There's not too many high schooling games like that where it's physical, it's 8-7, and I mean it's just back and forth action. Like I said, you can barely go to the bathroom. That's a beautiful hockey game when when like I'll be at the bar and somebody will be talking to me, like when the Sharks are in the playoffs. It's like, dude, now's not the time.
Right.
But this if I look away, and something happens, I'm really going to be disappointed that you're even anywhere, especially if it's the other team scoring.
Yeah.
I guess just, the best thing to do is just let me watch my playoff hockey in peace, and then maybe at commercial time, come on, hey, say hi. But during the game, it's very critical to keep your eyes glued to the action, especially during power plays. Don't come talk to me when there's a power play of 5-on-3 and you think it's cool to come talk about what you did last summer.
Oh yeah, right. The care less. The
Hockey is really, and that goes,
so
you're in commercial break. Sure. But with hockey is on, listen, it's a high speed sport where if you see somebody into it, you gotta catch yourself and say, hey, leave this guy alone. As you can see, he's really catching him on commercial road. Hey, even I'll make the mistake. I'll see a guy watching a Blackhawks game and, hey, bud, what's happening? He's just like, oh, nothing. What's up? And he goes right back to, so you know, I know what's happening. I literally watch this, like, oh, man, yeah. And then I catch myself. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? The guy's trying to pay attention to this hockey.
Well, and you know,
Even though the Blackhawks are very bad this year, I don't know why anybody would be that deep into watching them. Regardless, it's his now. It's his team.
maybe he's like,
It's his team. Maybe they were on the verge of an upset in a game. Maybe
And as you said last time, they have the most money.
they have the most money of the league.
right. And as Bakey's just in shock. He's like, I can't believe they spent this kind of money.
Well,
We sell.
Bowie. And there's a couple teams this year, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Rangers. What happened, boys? What happened? You went from up in the playoffs down to the bottom of the tank. So, I mean, I get it. Hey, I get why this. It's a fast sport. You got to be watching them. 8 to 7 games are beautiful because, man, you got to pay attention to the game. Sure, you can't be listening, fiddle farting around.
Now, would you rather watch a 1-0 fiddle part?
The fiddle part, I got fiddle part, old school. That goes back to my dad.
Oh yeah, pops
Playoffs and the fiddle part. Yeah.
So, would you rather watch a 1-0 skill game or an 8-7
Hey,
or
bring it. Hey, you want to see zeros. I mean, they're good. I mean, especially in the playoffs because every goal matters and one goal is, you know what, but man, when you're going back and forth like that, it's just constant cussing. It's constant yelling. It's an emotional roller coaster like there's no other. And then when you win the game, it's beers, it's shots, it's, you know, it's just pure mayhem. When you win an 8 to 7 game like that, it's unbelievable. If you're into hockey and it's playoff time like that, the last 20 games, and you're fighting for first place, and you have a game like that,
tell you.
brother, that's what makes it, man.
Yeah, Gretzky used to always make sure that he had a beer and a Gatorade cup because he knew he was always getting interviewed after the game and didn't want to waste, you know, the 15, 20 minutes it took you back to your locker room. Man, he was ready. So he had a guy
Pre-game, after game, after game. Let's
yeah,
get out of here.
right when he came up the ice, had a beer and his Gatorade
Wow,
because he was ready.
he was ready.
Yeah, game's over. And he just, every game was exhilarating.
Me and him would have had a lot in common if I would have played hockey.
Yeah, especially at that level.
Yeah.
That's wild. So you would rather see the 8-7 war? Me too. Horse. Oh yeah, horse. I mean, I think that
Everybody
right.
wants to see the high score and the high flying, high speed fights. That's everybody's.
It makes it is true, Eddie.
I've watched hockey games, especially rivalries. Usually we'll get a 4-3, 5-4, but the 8 to 7's really going the extra mile.
extra moment.
Yeah.
So back to your guy that was watching, you know, or interrupting whenever people were watching the game, going and talking. You know, I think a lot of it has to do now is, you know, vettings have gotten to be.
Oh, that too. You know what? People are, he just got, you know,
Oh, sure.
sport. I'm there watching a basketball game with a buddy of mine. Noise comes in. Tay, another shout out to another regular. He comes in and he's always got his basketball on. And you know what? He's paying attention. He needs one player. A lot of people have player props, whether it's in hockey, it's shots on goal, whether it's in basketball, it's points, whatever. Catch up at the rushing yards, it's all player props. So people are really into the game to see if their player, if your player is playing.
Right.
Now you see, I make an assist or a points or something. So they're really even into it. Now they need 2 points with 3 minutes left to win. And you got Jimbo over here wanting to tell you about his mother-in-law and how she pulled this badass dandelion out of the ground. And now, I mean, and there's just times that you just don't say anything. And during hockey, the best time is when somebody's watching the TV, just let them watch the TV, for sure. Yeah.
So now with Jim Bev. So Tay, you say his name?
Just take
So now Tay basketball props now. No offense, Tay, but now would you say prop bets or kind of sucker bets or
Well, you know what? I seen the man hit 2 of them right in front of me.
okay?
So, you know what? I think they give you all these boosts and all that stuff now. And you know what?
I mean, betting has become like a video game.
It's become a video game. And on top of it, it's become easier for the player because you got all these companies competing against each other, especially online. Out in Vegas, they don't do none of this crazy shit. They do it online though. And so they're competing. They give all these boosts. So people bet whatever boost games are going on. So that's a boost. They give like 70% more, or they give you a line like old Joe Smo, or like maybe Gretzky only has one shot on goal. Something that's gonna.
So it's a prop bet.
It's a prop bet that throws some sort of give me in with it to add to your.
So it's not like this is paying 125 and get a boost, and now it only pays.
Yeah, and there is, to be honest, I'm not on a fan doing all that, but I talked to all my buddies who are at the bar who are on all that, and they get boost on different sides.
You pay for a boost.
You can make a $125 bet and get a 70% boost.
70% boost, but now you win a lot more, or you get
So you pay for that.
Well, you use it whenever you're betting.
it goes whatever you bet. Now your 100 just got boosted 7.
Right. So has they selected this game to be?
Yes.
And
So are they yes, exactly it.
so they're doing that because they're trying to probably get, maybe if it's
special. It's a special. Just like anything. Hey, you know what? I offer daily specials.
Right.
That's their special.
regular, it's like, hey, yes, get a few hits of this. It's
all that. Yeah, whatever you said.
brings them in, but
Well, there's
that's the reason I have like this like teaser type.
you're saying
Payouts probably great because the odds of
that presents,
well, it's 70%, but even if you I'm thinking of like
the thing else
play that stuff.
on your player props, I like them because if you like a game that's gonna be high scoring, you bet the overs on everybody, and that's what this guy does.
Gotcha.
And
Well, the overs, that's a regular bet.
the overs on every player if the game's a high scoring game, or on a team. If you expect that team against a weak defense to get a lot of shots on goal, the bet overs on a lot of that team players to shoot, to score, to do whatever. But it's just got to be against a weak defense, and I think, like I said, I've seen it work for him twice. I'm not big for a big parlay guy, but I think the player props, with all the boost and all the extras that they throw in, it's really helped the players.
Okay.
Instead of it being a total house game, I think the players are coming out ahead now. Maybe a little bit. I said not a little more. Yeah, they're not coming out ahead.
Yeah.
Until DraftKings and FanDuel just disappears, I'm losing too much money. Yeah, they're not coming out.
Exactly. And that's not the case right now. That's the fun. So would you say because of all this boost and, it's definitely 100%, in my opinion, increased the amount of people that are betting, especially young high school kids. I know a lot of friends that had their kids, are talking to them, they're on their phone.
For sure.
And so,
We got women that have never even.
right, because it's, it's pretty, so, but would you say that's changing how people are watching the game now? Any game, like any
For sure. I mean, now they're watching it. By the time their player gets done scoring, they might be done watching the game. Oh, I won my mind. Right. I'd say cash out. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they just care about their money, not the game.
Right.
But you know what? If you bet on the game's total spread, like, MU to win by 3. Well, now you're watching it to the end because you need MU to win by 3.
Sure.
These player props, he might say, if Johnny hits a goal, shit, I win all this. Well, Johnny scores a goal. Yeah, I won. Shots for no, he's not even paying attention. I mean, his game's over.
So you could increase the amount of viewership, if you will, and not necessarily increase like dedicated fans.
Right. It's like, well, that
Right.
or dedicated fans are different than gamblers.
Right. But well, true. But, gamblers, if they're really into the whole game, they still have the favorite team and they're still spending money on drinks.
Who their favorite team is
the one that's winning the money.
100 for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But do they really have a favorite team? Like the Chiefs, they're my favorite team. Did I bet against them? All the time. Right. Does it work? Sometimes.
Sure. Especially this past season.
Well, especially this past season, they really burned me because every time I bet on them, they did cover, and every time I bet against them, they did. So hopefully they can figure out consistency.
Consistency's key. So would you say, does it make bad teams more interesting to watch?
Sure. Of course it does. Whenever you got the other team -1.5 goal, you know what? You want to really see the badness in this team.
Yeah.
I'm like, why you say, how bad are you? Oh my God, this is why I bet the 1.5. Or sometimes you're like, are you freaking shitting me? How is this team? Just happened the other night. You had Dallas Stars in Chicago go in overtime again. And the last time Chicago beat them in overtime, Dallas is number one. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league. Number two in the overall NHL. And you're playing the Chicago Blackhawks, and they take you to overtime.
Blackhawks again.
They score again, and the Blackhawks beat them in overtime the time before, and now you go to embarrassing. This is a $300 and some favorite over a team they got to beat, and you're going to overtime, and that's just how the sport is. There's absolutely nothing that's a given. All these guys are paid professionals. We see the Blackhawks are, one of the top paid here in the league. Cash and so they got the team. They're just not playing like they do. And this game, they decided to play like they did. And that's the inconsistency that the Blackhawks had. Teams with better consistency are obviously gonna.
Sure. Now, what would you say the hardest bet is in hockey? Would it be the player props, or would it be over-unders, puck line, money line?
The hardest one would be the money line because if you really think a team's gonna win, you got to put up a lot of money to win a little bit of money. I mean, I think your best bet would always be the other side of that and take the plus money. But
So hold on. So take the plus money on when there's a big
low plus money. I like low plus monies because
Plus 110.
on a -2, you can either give up $130, $140 to win 100 on the favorite, or you could take the 100 and win 115, 120 on the underdog. And you know what? It's going to be a close game. Why give up the juice when you don't have to? It's going to be a close game. The chances of it being a 2-point game are very slim. I'd take the money line. That's just personally what I would do.
Now, is this in hockey or baseball as well?
It's in baseball as well. Any team can beat anybody.
Right.
I mean, any team, you can have a -5. I would highly suggest never taking a -400, even though Scherzer or somebody's telling badass is all in the mound. Well, some badass is on the mound and he's thrown 2 no-hitters in a row.
Right.
And this team is the worst hitting team in baseball. They're dead last in the league. Oh, they're plus 400 today. Well, what a steal. You can get this team at -500. You know what? Let's put 5,000 on it to win 500. That's the easiest 500 I've ever won in my life. Well, for some reason, this pitcher just didn't have his game line. And these guys, for some reason, decided to hit. It happens in every sport. And all of a sudden, you got a 1-0 victory because your team couldn't be hit. Their team accidentally got a guy on, and we had an error hit. And somehow they scored a run, and they win. Trust me, I know what's happening. Yeah. Don't ever lose money like that. It's so sickening you'll end up in the toilet for us.
Well, just this past week in UFC, they had the BNF belt up, and it was Max Holloway who had the belt, and he was fighting the guy from Brazil. Draw a blank on his name. But the guy from Brazil used to be champion. He was like all this stuff, and they had
What were they off?
I think it was -245.
And I got beat.
Well, the guy that but you didn't know the guy that was on the other end of that.
Right.
He won. Oh, he beat unbeat. Yeah,
The underdog, though.
exactly. But the underdog should have been the underdog. I mean, that was the like when I saw that, it was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy was champion not that long ago. Yeah, like it was one of those.
There's not bets the same really is.
It was nuts. So do you think that's because just the money was so heavy right off the gate for one person, and the casinos were like, shit, I need to.
That's people betting on him. The spreads can get raised from the action that's on the
Not usually UFC bet. Then nothing should be that.
Well,
I'm sure that's later. I'm sure that's with Aries Sport.
what time does the main event come on? 11 o'clock. That's after all your basketball. The people are looking to regroup. Oh shit, we got an Anderson fighting. And there's one undercard. I don't even know who's favored. Okay, then you just make a silly decision to, he's a plus. What I usually do is I take a plus and I do it to have entertainment on the fight. Yeah.
Well, you'd have won a mountain for sure. I mean, and then you go back. I mean, anyway.
So my answer to that, I personally like the money line. The tougher bets, parlays. Parlays are what Vegas lives on. They love the guy who loves his parlays. So that's your hardest bet, I would say. Money line's I'd say money line would probably be your best bet. Given points, your hardest bet. Yeah. Along with what I said the first time.
Okay. So now, what team right now is the biggest trap bet, would you say?
You know what? Any team can be a trap bet. Any team that's highly favored can be a trap bet. Like you had Colorado who won so many in a row. They were so high favored over everybody. And pretty soon they started losing and boom, they were getting all their money back from all the times they were winning all them games. And that's how they do it. There's really no traps. It's just a matter of the high dollar teams. Any high dollar team, like the trash game, the Hawks in Dallas. It's a trap game. Just stay away from it. Give up the goal and a half. Don't give up all that major juice. That's something I've learned in Yam. Do not give up major juice. No major juice, Steve. That is one of my biggest tips. Do not give it up. Okay. And what would be major juice? Major juice would be 200 and above. Okay. I'm not down to lose them twice on my money, right? No, I want to bet that is not right. It's be
Every professional sport, at the end of the day, you have professionals against professionals.
take the plus.
And yeah.
Take the plus.
So would you say then like a good record but unpredictable team would
I want to see what they do on the road. You want to see what they do at home. But in the long run, you know what? You want to see who's in goal. Are they playing back to back? You got to look up all, it depends on how big of a gambler you are. There's all kinds of stats you can look up. Like we talked about last week, we talked about the referees controlling the game. There's all kinds of different stats you can look up. Teams that score high. But, I just told you Vancouver usually gets up a bunch of that. They've lost 2-0 at home the other day. And usually they get up a bunch and they score a couple. That's not so. You just don't know. It just depends on how good a team feels. Are they all back-to-backers? You just got to do your homework.
Do you know what the over was on the Sabre Lightning game?
I would highly imagine it was in between 5.5 and 6.
Right.
So 100%, you had that. That was wrapped up. That was wrapped up in the first period. I don't know what the score was in the first period. I think it was only 3-0.
No, that's right. Because
then I guess second period it was. I think, but in the second period, third period, that scored all their goals. That's right. But I think you had it by the end of the second period. They're pretty close.
And we mentioned this last week. I'm gonna probably touch base on it all the time because I think they do make a difference. But are the NHL refs influencing betting odds?
I mean, like I told you last week, I don't think so. I think they call the game as they see it. And you know what? You throw an elbow up to the head area, you do what Malkin did, you're going to get called for that. I mean, back in the day, you might have got away with it. But nowadays, if it's any kind of dirty miss, anything that'll hurt somebody, that's not. I mean, you're going to get hurt. But I mean, seriously hurt. They want that out of the name.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't know. Hopefully,
and I think the refs are doing a great job. I don't think there's any hard job to do.
I mean, you saw whenever you were showing off.
Well, and we've been to the Mavericks games, and we've seen Barry Halls, but they're quick, and we've seen good calls. I mean,
there's so much action.
So much action.
So, on to the Mavs. A little bit of the KC hockey culture.
All right.
Mavs are still number one for sure.
Playing good hockey.
You guys got to come out and we did. Why is minor league hockey so much fun online?
You know what? It's not just minor league hockey. It is hockey, period.
Okay.
Minor league hockey is fun live. You're watching a good team. You're not watching a sloppy double A team, ECHL team. You're watching a damn good team, and they're fun to watch when they score. Cable Dahmer has a great experience, right? As the lights flash, they make it a great experience for people, and they make it a lot of fun, and it helps when your team's winning.
Right, for sure.
Hockey's a great sport to watch, period. But whenever your arena and your rink collaborate with the Mavericks, and you got all the announcing, all the little games they do, and the kids singing the national anthem, and just everything they put on out there, it's a good product, and that's why it's fun. If your team's losing and they're playing shitty hockey and they're getting beat 6-0 day in, day out, pretty soon you start losing that. Well, this is fun, right? It's no fun watching your team get their ass run day in and day out. But that's one of the reasons KC culture is on the uppity up. The Mavericks have looked great the last 2 years. We had a little down season and we turned it around. So, I love what we got going on here.
I do too. mean, it's a great environment. I mean, again, I love to learn blades. What caused blades to eventually?
The whole league. The whole league. IHF, I believe it was called. IHF, not the IHL. IHF, International Hockey Federation. The whole league went under, and a lot of the teams moved to AAA. I think the Milwaukee Admirals went to AAA. Fort Wayne Comets went to AAA. So some of them IHF teams and the Blades, unfortunately, just folded. They become the Kansas City Outlaws, ended up jumping in around 2001.
Okay.
And they had, yeah, and they had like 2 years of hockey, and then hockey pretty much pulled it. But we're drawing it. We got a new stadium coming out in Olathe. And I know they're going to try to do some junior stuff, some really good stuff going on out there. So in Kansas City, we're still trying to grow the sport. And like I said, with that HBO show that's come out, and I've heard nothing but positive things. I think things are really on the uppity up out here.
Right. We had the Olympic gold medal, both men for swing,
For sure. And the only place to watch it was the Blue Line. There's no doubt about that. Other bars did open, but which is great. You got a lot of extra people who didn't want to sit outside. It's very smart to do.
Yeah.
But of course that got everybody tuned in. And if you didn't see that game, man, you missed a good one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah,
It was. Now, I'd say that the Mavs game that we went and saw was pretty incredible.
it was.
We went Wednesday, and then we went back on a Friday.
And they won both of them.
Both of them, they won. And then on Friday, they ended up winning like 5-1 or like 1-2, something like that.
I remember they kicked our ass.
Kicker.
We had a hazardous, yeah.
You had a 2-party bus.
2 party buses up there. So what a great,
Even like 80 people or something.
yeah, 70 some people.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mavericks. Thank you, Dom Marina, for all the support. Cause I mean, man, them things are a blast. But and it's great. We get a lot of new people who haven't seen the sport,
Right.
and they're like, man, this is so much fun.
And this kind of goes back to what you were saying about that TV show. This kind of popped off when we were in Brazil, right? You end up all of a sudden getting all these
People buying these
buses, right? Epic's adding a bus, which we've never done in the past.
No, never have we had 2 buses.
You look for who the girl was that did that?
I don't, but her video gave her a shout out. Yeah, 100% we'll find out because her video did go viral. It went viral, meaning, tens to 100,000 people. That's a lot of views. It's a lot of video, especially and for the bar. For a little local bar, and all of a sudden I'm on a beach in Brazil getting bimbos, 100 different bimbos, wondering why. And it was all because of this TikTok and all because of this show. The young people that are getting involved in hockey is beautiful. And I'm glad that we can create a situation where they can come hop on for a cheap price and go see what this is all about.
Oh, yeah. And the Mavericks, I'll say that.
Yeah, I will too.
But the Mavericks were very accommodating, not only, of their thing, but me and Todd were able to go out there.
Yeah, that's Cable Dahmer. I don't know. No, that wasn't. I mean, it was his Mavericks or something like that.
Yeah, we got that press pass. Yeah, is it Emma?
Yeah.
Is that her name? And Emma and James. They're both great.
Yeah.
Made sure that everything worked out. Yeah. Todd was able to get some good photos.
Yeah.
We'll show them here someday.
Yeah.
But it was a great time. It was a great time. And I'm glad that, you guys were able to have that relationship with them. Because you could see how when we were out there, how much they appreciate you.
Yeah.
But yet,
It's just the love is there. We love the Mavericks and we love the Cable Dahmer. And
it's a nice arena.
no, it's a great arena and we loved working with them.
What's that? Oh, I had a question. The place in Olathe, is it going to be the new home for the Mavericks?
No, not that. They just signed a 3-year deal.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it's not. I don't think it ever will be. I'm hoping, but that's for them to decide. But
Promote youth hockey is what
yeah, I think that's a really nice arena they're building out there, though.
Yeah.
They're really nice. So,
it had nice facilities, especially when you're dealing with Johnson County. That really helps the kids decide.
For sure. And Olathe's a ways out there, not even Johnson County to Olathe or downtown to Olathe. That's a long, nobody wants to drive their kid 30, 40, so that's good. They got something way out in that area to take care of that whole whole little spot. So you got something in Leawood, something in Olathe, something in Johnson County. You got something up north in Line Creek. So, youth hockey is here and they're playing it and kids love it. I got a buddy who has a kid and, he brought me Jax, love you little buddy. He brought me a little picture and I wasn't at the bar, but I will be for him this next time. And I missed it because of the damn party bus. We were out too late. But anyway, he brought me his championship team photo. And he wants me awesome. Wants me to hang it up at the bar. And he loves the bar. That's what else. When me and his dad do shots, he does a little shot of Pepsi or Coke or whatever. Right. And he just loves hanging out with us. And that's awesome. He's a little hockey stud and I love it. So I'm excited to get his picture hung up. But youth hockey, man, the kids that love it, they absolutely love it. And there's nothing more, they want to come in, they want to watch it. He comes in with his dad. He wants to watch the Colorado game. He wants to watch the Blues game. And so unfortunately, his dad has to take him to the blue line so he can get his hockey fix. Right. So dad has to Uber him there, which is great. Good job. That's great. Good time. I love it. And that's so
I could say that Kansas City secretly is a great.
I do. I think we're doing our best to grow it. We got Ken Morrow out here helping. Yeah. Charities, Casey Ice. I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on. Just the hockey community is beautiful and they work together. And that's what we're doing. From the Blue Line to Cable Dahmer to the Mavericks to KCIC to all of them. We love to work with all of our hockey people.
Yeah. It's great seeing someone getting there. I think especially with whatever Casey Ice was it.
When you got kids, growing up with it, whenever I was a kid, I wasn't growing up with hockey. I didn't start life in hockey till the Blades. So I wasn't young.
Blades were, yeah, that was awesome.
And that's when I started getting into hockey. So I was able to spread it when you're a kid and you grow up. Now you grow up as an adult, you have your own kids. Now you got them into hockey. Now the sport is really growing because now as a dad, you love hockey. Now your kids love hockey. Now it's really growing. It starts from the kid level.
Right.
And you got to build it.
When I grew up, there was no race anywhere you go.
Well, we didn't even have high school.
Right. Yeah, I don't believe it. We did. It was way
No program where we were not. Right. So Liberty High School did not have hockey. It wasn't even close.
but there wasn't even youth hockey.
No. You had to join. Where you have in Minnesota or wherever. But
now we're the arena that you were just mentioning.
Yes, you're more to come, which is great. I love it.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yes.
Any wild card controversy?
You know what? We got my Sharks trying to sneak in there. I mean, as far as controversy, you got games you got to win. The Pacific, you got teams losing. When you got to win, God dang it, the Sharks are on a 2-game losing streak. You got to win one when everybody else is losing. You got 2 games in hand there. It's so fun to watch at this point. I'm not sure exactly who is fine for. You got Boston and Montreal. And you got Seattle and Utah who are in the wild card right now. You got the Sharks in LA fighting. It's just like I said, this is playoff time. There's no real controversies in hockey. It's either whether you win or you don't.
Right.
So that's what's going on. We got 20 games left. So
20 games till playoffs.
20 games till playoffs.
But you classify it as 20 games as we're in the playoffs.
20 games as we're in the playoffs. Right. And we got a couple games in hand. This is where it gets exciting. So
as you saw, Jen and Goal Saver lighting it.
Yes. And nobody's out of it. We've seen the Blues 2019 come out of the cellar to come back and take first place after the All-Star break. So nobody's out of it. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Suspensions? They getting too soft?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the guy just, hit him in the side of that. Well, I can't believe he just got a game misconduct, which is, I don't know if it should have been worse or not. I'm not part of that crew to see exactly what all happened, but I think everything's being called fair.
Yeah.
Yes, the suspensions are what they are. You know what? If it's bad enough, you probably deserve it.
Okay.
That's pretty much, I think everything's going great in the NHL. It's a great sport to watch. It's being well officiated. I mean, the players are stepping up. I mean,
we're on track. Okay. Well, I mean, there's got to be one rule. What one rule would you change tomorrow?
What one rule would I change? To be honest with you, Matt, that's a good question. If there's a rule I'm going to change in hockey, maybe
Offside review, shootout.
maybe
Fighting, instigator.
No, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't think there is a rule. If there were a rule, it would be something that took away from hockey. But I don't believe there's anything that's taken away. I mean, you got the guys who just deflect the puck above the crossbar that goes in. I mean, you know what? That still takes a lot of skill, no matter where you're deflecting it. But there's certain angles a goalie cannot stop, and so that makes sense as well too.
Talking about what they went to scoop.
Like when it's shot at the goal, you can deflect it.
Okay, yeah.
And if your stick is above the crossbar, it doesn't count. So the stick you can't deflect it above the crossbar. It has to be below it. So, or the goal doesn't count. Okay. So that's one rule that, but you know what? It doesn't affect the game that much to where, I mean, there's some good goals regardless, but if it's above the crossbar, it's a rule. And there's any rules I really want to see changed. I mean, they changed. It used to be in the NHL where you couldn't pass from the back by the goalie to the other side of the blue line, right? Because that was unallowed. And then, but that sped up the game. But what it'll do is you'll have somebody kind of cherry pick and head that way, and this guy will find him, and boom, he's already skating past the blue line, heading towards the net. Where back in the day, you couldn't pass it past your own. You had to keep the puck and control it, and not pass it
Sling
through them zones. No slinging it, and that's sped up the game tremendously. What they're doing for hockey is bettering the sport. They're not making it any worse.
That's great.
Right now, it's only getting better.
It's great to hear. I mean,
Yes, yeah, that's the way I see it. Yes, it's only getting better. They're letting the fights go. Fights happen. They're understanding that's part of the game. And man, hockey's just at a beautiful era right now.
that's great. And so what is offside review?
Offside review is when they think the puck another team will challenge it. If the team loses that challenge, they lose a player for 2 minutes. So it's a very serious challenge. It's not like any of it. It's just challenge, whoop-de-doo. No, you lose the challenge, but you lose a player for 2 minutes because of penalty. So you better know that guy was offside. No. It's like, you know what? That's a good question. I don't think you picked the player. That's a good question.
Yeah.
He's like, but I had to tell you,
Or maybe the other teams.
if they challenge it and slow the game down because of this challenge, they get penalized.
That's good.
And I love it. They need to incorporate that in every sport.
Right.
You know, there needs to be a penalty for trying to challenge something that, not just because, oh, you got one in your back pocket and let's slow this game down. And no. If you're wrong, there's going to be a penalty. That's the way that challenges need to be something that is more penalized, I think, because it slows the game down, no matter what sport it is.
Just a player on the ice, it says.
So what?
A player on the ice,
A player on the ice. Okay, so you got to hear team.
whatever player's on the ice. Okay, I don't know.
The head coach chooses.
Yeah, head coach chooses. Their head coach chooses.
No, yours.
Their head coach chooses. It's a penalty against.
Yes.
So it has to.
Other team's head coach. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, and whatever. Yeah, your best player, all that, he's gone.
Right. Well, I mean,
Or that guy might be going about ready to head for a shift anyway. You might want to get somebody else who's just fresh on the ice and make them pull somebody else or change their lines. It's all strategy when it comes to that.
is the shifts are just based on however long you want this.
Right, for sure. Well, the shifts are whenever you can get his ass off the ice.
Right.
If it's anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes, shoot up 2 minutes is the longest you want to be on that thing. I mean, at 45, that's huge on the ice. Minute 45, you're ready to get the hell off of there.
Man, I got to correct this, Steve. It's the coach for that pick. Come on, his players.
Yeah. He picks his own players. Okay, good enough. That's one I didn't know.
So it sucks to be the guy who lost.
That's why we learned him, man. So when there's a challenge that's lost, that coach gets to pick his player. Okay, well, that's not too bad of the penalty, but you're still losing a play.
Right. You're still not a man.
It's a player of his choice, but you're still losing a play.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, well, kind of wrapping this up, I mean, what I've heard you say is NHL doesn't need to change really anything. You know, the league's finally, hockey's exciting. And, referee and everything that's really happening was doing nothing but better the game.
Better the game.
So, I mean,
This is X. It is. I think the ratings are going up. I think this hockey playoffs with the gold medal game just happening I think the ratings for playoffs are going to shoot up. I think we're going to see a lot more people at the blue line here for round ones. I just think we're going to see a lot more hockey fans out there. I've already seen it, and I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for playoffs.
So when the Blues are in the playoffs, does that affect you at all?
Oh, 100%. We fill the bar. When Blackhawks are in the playoffs, which unfortunately, neither one of them have been in there for quite a while.
So why Blackhawks?
Blackhawks, a lot of Chicago transit. It's a Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota will have them. We'll even have some Dallas people. But Chicago and St. Louis were right there.
Yeah, don't they flick? Or I don't know if that's true. I thought I read that they're planning on expanding 2 more cities or something.
I don't know. I know Houston and and Quebec are the two top ones. Kansas City is in the fold, but you need ownership and you need people who are going to sports.
Do you ever see NHL growing to be
Sometime maybe we'll see. Be
40 teams?
well, I don't know. I mean, every now and then they're adding. I mean, I don't know exactly when adding teams how that hurts the league.
Or games, probably.
I mean, more games or less games with I don't know how exactly adding teams hurts. You're probably right. Probably a couple more games.
I mean, you'd think there'd have to be for more.
They already play, about 100 games. If they go to play on a Stanley Cup, they can play, 2 maybe a year or a weekend game. 16. You think 7-game series, 3 7-game series is another 21 games on top of 82. That's a lot of is 103 games. You getting trashed up against some boards, hit ice, going through a lot of injuries. But hockey's where it needs to be at for sure.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Steve. Always a pleasure.
Always.
Yeah. Todd, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Steve and the Blue Line. Subscribe for more hockey talk.